We're good to go. Good morning, everybody. I would like to first get to know you guys. So I would like to have this more interactive, more I want to hear from you guys. So this way I think it can facilitate this 6-7 hours that we have on a Saturday. We're going to go through a lot, and I want this to be as interesting as possible. So let's start with you. Your name, what do you do?
I'm not working. I
Okay.
took the exam once and didn't pass it, so that's why I decided to take classes and then do it.
Okay.
So after that, we'll see what happens.
Okay. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck with that. What school did you go to?
Long Beach.
Cal State Long Beach. Okay. That's where I teach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool.
But I graduated quite a while ago.
Okay. Okay. So you're back in this right now, just like our friend. All right.
My name is Milad. I graduated from Fullerton, bachelor and master, and I'm out of job. Just came back from Middle East. I had a job there, and then so I felt like I need to get my PE and
Yeah.
job, and then
Absolutely.
just I never tried EIT, so this is the first time.
First shot.
First.
Okay. Did you do construction, or what type of engineering were you involved in?
Construction management,
Construction management.
construction engineer and management. Yes.
Okay. So you're diving back into engineering here, and
Yeah.
okay. Yes, sir.
Brandon, I graduated last year and taking an exam. I'm doing the exam and just trying to get the best chance I can.
Okay. So this is your first time.
Yeah.
Okay. What school?
UCI.
UCI. Okay. Awesome.
I'm Jose, graduated in 2015 from WPI in Central Massachusetts.
Mm.
First time test taker, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Cool. And are you from California, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you went there for school,
Yeah.
came back. All right.
My name is Francisco. I graduated from Cal Poly 2012. I've been working with Michael Baker International for 6 years in the land development department.
Oh, okay.
And I need the exams or the PE in order to move up. So,
Okay. And you're not considering the LS route?
no.
No, just the PE. All right. Cool. Well, maybe down the line.
Yeah, maybe down the line, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's in our office, there's a couple guys that do have their PE and their
Yeah. Yeah. At work, they get like a bonus for having their PE and their LS. Okay. Cool. Well, your name again? Just one more time.
Francisco.
Francisco. That's correct. All right. So my name is Haikal, and I am an instructor at Cal State Long Beach. I started my career doing geotech. So it was not the sexy subject in school that I wanted to pursue. It was one of those classes where I just wanted to just pass it and get on with it, because I was a structural major mostly. So I didn't really care for it. But then the economy when I graduated was terrible, so I had no option. I mean, I would be sending out sometimes 40 applications a weekend to hear back one email. And that email was an automatic response saying, "Hey, I'm out of the office, try back again," and whatever. So it's not a human being, it was a robot. It was tough, so I ended up in geotech as a lab person. So at that point, I already had my EIT. I'm close to graduating. I should not be getting, $12 an hour at the time. That was, in my opinion. But because the economy was so bad, I just took whatever I can have. So it turns out that I really did like the subject. I really did like it because it's all around us. And if you kind of build that connection or that meaning to something, you kind of enjoy it more, along the journey. So, I mean, just thinking about geotech, every building is on some sort of soil. If you've seen a floating building, tell me about it. But they haven't created anything like that. You need your soil. There's mountains everywhere. How are these mountains not, failing in a landslide like we had in Laguna, I think, maybe 10 years ago. So this geotech is really all around us. It's very important, but they don't get so much credit for what they do because most of it is not seen. You know, everything is underground. You see this beautiful building with the architecture and all that, but then what's underneath it? What kind of foundation is this? Is this on piles? Is this on a shallow foundation? What's going on? Well, it's all hidden. So that kind of represents a geotechnical engineer, just like his work. It's kind of behind the scenes. It's hidden. So that was cool. Like I said, I started as an intern in the lab doing these Atterberg limits and sieve tests. I did quite a lot of them, and then I became a field technician, inspector, and then I was a field engineer, and then I was the office engineer, and then I was a project manager. So I kind of moved up the ranks in the geotechnical world, and then I said, hey, like, let me try something new, because this was not my intention in the first place. So this was cool, it was nice, it was a nice run, but I want to try what I wanted to do. And that's more, you know, structures, more transportation. So I joined the County of Los Angeles Public Works. It's the largest public works agency in the United States, possibly the world. And in that capacity, I've worked in traffic and transportation. I did structural engineering, and now I'm doing more water resources planning. So I'm still enjoying the ride. I'm still exploring. I haven't declared one thing to be my thing, but that's been my trajectory in life, is that I don't just stick to like one sport. I like to do a lot of sports and be good. I don't want to be excellent at one thing. I want to be good to great at many things. So I think that's how it is for engineering. But because geotech, I was pretty much a baby, and I grew with geotech. I mean, that was when I first laid eyes on the engineering world. That was my real life practice. I started from the lab, like doing actual tests and sitting there and figuring things out. And I did probably like thousands of tests, you know. And once you do that, you just get it. And it helped me with my next step, as opposed to just being thrown into something high level. You don't know what's going on at the bottom. So it did help me out. It worked out quite good for me. And now I teach geotech at Cal State Long Beach. This semester I'm doing 3 courses, lab and lecture. And then I'm doing this. This is my second time doing this. And I'm enjoying it. So, like I said, I want to make this as interactive as possible. So if you have any questions, if you don't get something, just don't even raise your hand, just say it out loud. All right. One thing before we get started with this is I like to mention to my students, usually in the beginning of the semester, is this. Who's heard of the 10,000 hour rule? So this is basically a rule that somebody made that said for you to become an expert at something, you need to dedicate 10,000 hours towards that something. So let's say I was a full-time geotech engineer. So that would mean that, so there's about 2,000 working hours in a year, right, average. If you do that for 5 years, then you're an expert at the subject, you know. Granted that you are involved and you do your research and you are, you know, working hard at this and not just going to the office and just hanging out there and then all of a sudden 5 years later, hey, I'm an expert in this. No, with you know, dedication, and after 5 years you're an expert. So what I tell my students is that when you're in geotech class, they're doing, let's say for example this semester, they have 3 hours of lecture and then 3 hours of lab. That's 6 hours. So if you do 6 hours times, we have the semester, so 6 times 16 weeks, finals, midterms, let's say times 14, 84 hours. How much would you say that students study for a class? A week? 2 hours maybe? All right, so 2 times 14, that is 28 plus 28. So wait, 14 times 6 plus 28. 112 hours. So 112, divide that by 10,000 times 100. That's like, it's like 1% of the struggle. 1%. So this is what I'm trying to say here. They're doing 1% in a classroom. Like, this is a real class, and they're only doing 1% of the time and the effort that it takes to become an expert at something. And sometimes they feel discouraged that, hey, I didn't get this. Like, you know, structures was a difficult subject. Oh, geotech was a dry subject. I can't do this. So then they kind of program their mind to say, hey, that class I don't get. It's not me. And then that's it. It's like an X for the rest of their life. So every time they hear the word geotech, it's like, you know, it's that feeling. And a lot of people at work, they come to me for their geotech when they're studying for their PE. It's like, hey, like, I hated geotech. I don't get this. Please just, you know, let me know how to do this. And it's like, it's a 2-minute thing. It's really easy. But because they've been programmed to say, hey, it's that bad experience. Maybe they had a bad teacher. Maybe they had bad circumstance at that semester. For us, even here doing this review course, it's even way less than that. So for us, we're doing 6 hours, which is one of those classes. I mean, that's even, you divide 6, and I don't know what you're going to study after this. I don't know. How would you say, like, you're averaging on a subject a week? 2, 4?
Sounds about right.
2, 4? So it's like you're going to get 1/3 of that percent to becoming. So again, what I want to say here is that you're not going to be an expert after this. You're not going to be an expert after taking, you know, CE 345. You're not. You got to know the fundamentals right now. This is what you focus on. Focus on the fundamentals so you can move on and get past this, get past the FE, get past the PE. And then whatever your path takes you, if you're a geotech, then at least you know the basics and you can start building up on that and become the expert, you know, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years down the line. Okay? So we're going to focus on the fundamentals here, the very basics, so you can move on. And if you never touch this, you know, in your life, if you're, you know, in land development for the rest of your life, then, well, hey, at least you got your PE and you moved on. So, again, this is our focus today, is to get the basics down and to give you the 1, the basics, and then 2, the confidence to do this on your own. So geotech is not too bad, actually. You know, we had that class and I did pretty okay. So what we're going to do first is I would like for us to do just a quick diagnostic test. The exam that you see on everybody has the PPI book, right? So there's a diagnostic exam. Does anybody know how much time you have for one question on the real test? 3 minutes. Okay, 2 to 3 minutes. So what we're going to do, there's 10 questions here on this. There's 10 questions. Don't look at the answers. Just let me see how you're going to do. We're going to take that we're going to do this together at the end. So right now you're going to do a quick assessment, 10 questions, so half an hour. And then we're going to go through all the material. We're going to do practice examples. And then at the very end, we're going to do this together. So I'm not going to do this, again, have you guys do it by yourself. Then we're going to correct it all the way at the end. And at that point, most of it should make sense to you. All right? So it is about 9:15 right now. Give it half an hour, so 9:45. And then if you're done early, if everybody finishes in like 20 minutes, we can move on. So just raise your hand and tell me that you're done. Okay? If you don't know something, how are you going to do this? I want this to be as very useful as possible, not just 30 minutes of you guys doing your own thing. Let's say you're stuck at one problem. Let's say number 1, you absolutely don't know how to do it. What is your strategy?
Yes.
Just guess? It's got to be more educated than that. You guess when you don't have enough time. if you're like, if this is it, and you just keep guessing, like I did for my surveying exam the first time around for the PE. I had 13 at the end that I totally like B. That was bad. But so anybody else have another strategy than guessing?